So today I'm talking about being ridiculous, going for your deepest desires, just really cranking on what you truly, truly want. And I'm going to adjust this here, so bear with me. It's a little bit better. I don't know. So here's the deal. Ridiculous has always worked for me. That's how I got really attractive women to go out with me. And that's how I got some of my biggest goals. Just asking for the outrageous, the crazy, the ridiculous. I'm not talking about being dangerous or being, crazy or doing some stunts that might harm you. I'm talking about asking for what you want deep in your gut, right? So I'll give you an example of something that really worked for me. And by the way, this will work for anybody. So about 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, we wanted to get a new house. My wife really wanted us to get a new house. And at that time we were renting. We liked the neighborhood, but we wanted to, she wanted to have her own house. And I was just getting my business started. So we didn't have a lot of money. I think I had literally $800 to my name. And she, like I said, she wanted a new house. I have $800 to my name. And so we started out house hunting. And my thinking was, there's no way I can get a house with $800, right? Because, you need a down payment. And besides the down payment, you need closing costs. I got $800 to my name. My business is about a year old. So bottom line is, I said, okay, let's start looking for a house. Knowing I don't qualify for a house, but I figure instead of me being the bad guy and telling her no, I'm going to be the good guy and let the market be the bad guy. Does that make sense? So we come across this house. It's an older house. It needs some work. It's got weird colors, like a purple living room and a pink and pink bathrooms and just ridiculous stuff, right? It's just kind of ugly. And it has not been well maintained. And the owners live out of state. So my wife and I, when we first saw this house, we said, no way. It was just in bad shape. And we said, there's no way we're getting this house. It's just disgusting. But it kept calling me. And we pondered about it. And we discussed it. And we prayed about it. And I finally decided that this is the house I can be ridiculous with. So I called up the real estate agent. And I said, okay, let's make an offer. So I made the offer, and it was like, a few $1,000s below what they were asking for. But I wanted them to take care of my down payment, and I wanted them to pay for my closing costs. So, I don't know what that equals to, maybe $15,000. So, if I remember correctly, I actually did not ask for a discount because I wanted them to pay for my closing costs and my down payment. That's what it was. And we write up this offer. And again, I only have $800 to my name. And I'm not about to give the real estate agent all my money. Because, once they take that money, it could take 30 to 60 days for you to get it back. So I write him a $100 check. And he says, no, I need $1,000. I said, no way. It's $100. That's typically what I put down on a real estate deal. He goes, Bert, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've never done a deal with $100. I said, I'm telling you, dude, I do this all the time. They will accept it. No, they're going to laugh at you, and I don't want to do this deal. I said, fine. If you don't want to do the deal because it's offensive to you or you're going to be embarrassed, I will find another real estate agent or I will do it myself. So the real estate agent finally says, fine, I don't think it's going to be accepted, but it doesn't really hurt to try. I said, fine. I said, you're going to learn something new. By the way, that was all BS. I had never done it like that before, but when you have no money, you have to be resourceful with what you have. And all I had was $800 and being ridiculous, right? Being outrageous, thinking out of the box. And so I'm asking for everything you could ask for. I want them to pay for the down payment, and for them to pay for the closing costs, and I'm writing them a $100 check. It doesn't get any more ridiculous than that. But the stars and the moons aligned, and they accepted my offer like that. I think, boom. Within 30 days, we owned that house with $100 down. And then, as you would have it, my father-in-law retired, and he volunteered to move down and clean up the house, fix it up, paint it, because he needed a project. And he's the kind of guy who doesn't like to just, quote, retire, right? I mean, he was done with banking, and now he wanted to do something else. And while he was thinking what his next move was, he thought this would give him busy. And I love that example. So he came down, he moved into that house, painted it, fixed it. And then, so within like 60 days, we moved into that house. And it was a wonderful blessing, man. It was just awesome. $100, bam! And we own that house. It's just fantastic. All right. So that's ridiculous example number one. Here's ridiculous example number two. There's a company called Coralco, and they had made big movies like Terminator, Basic Instinct, and a couple of movies with Sylvester Stallone, Cutthroat Island, which was with Matthew Modine, I think, and Gina Davis. Anyway, they literally, they have a list of big hits. And they had gone from being a $40 stock to a 25-cent stock. So I called them up, and I told them I'm interested in buying buying the company. I wanted to see if I could take it over, see if there was a deal there. So I fly down to LA, and I'm going through their books. Arnold Schwarzenegger's name comes up, and it kind of gives me an idea. If I can get Arnold involved, then I could really make this deal work. Because at that time, he was the actor, definitely the action hero guy, right? Big name. And I figured if I can get a hold of him, we could put a deal together. So I'm going through the books, and these guys have all this equipment. They have the largest green screen in the world. All of these sequel rights, sequel to Terminator 2, Basic Instinct 2, all the rights, right? They have some decent assets, but they're heavily in debt. They're losing money every week, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars per month. And so I leave, and I'm thinking, okay, how do I get a hold of Schwarzenegger? How do I pitch Arnold to help me put this deal together? And I'm asking everybody I know. People who are my shoe shine guys, the pool cleaner, servers, anybody I come in contact, anybody within the sound of my voice, clients, former clients, I'm asking them, hey, do you know how to get a hold of Arnold? Now, this is before LinkedIn or anything else. So everything is just, totally manual labor, just pounding it out. And so I'm taking a friend of mine, and his wife, it's to a movie. He's a printer by trade. She's a stay-home mom. And I asked them both, hey, do you know how to get a hold of Arnold? And I'm expecting a no, which is exactly what the printer guy says. The stay-home mom says, yes, I know how you can get a hold of Arnold, and I know when he's going to be back in town. What? And so she starts to tell me. I said, how do you know this? And she goes, well, my manager friend who works at GNC told me that he's coming into town to give an award to Senator Hatch. And so she gives me the contact information to the manager at GNC. I call him up. He gives me the contact information to the people who are putting on this award, right? So I call him up. I get invited to it. I talk my way into it. Because I'm in the zone, right? I can smell the deal. It's going to happen. It's going to be exciting, this multi-million-dollar deal, right? And so I go there. I go to the event, and I'm sitting there. I get to meet Senator Hatch, Joe Weider, Ben Weider, a couple other executives from the Weider Corporation. There's Arnold. I get to meet him. This is like the second time we met. There's his partner, Jim Lorimer. Anyway, bottom line is, we're all in the back and we're greeting each other. And I just, they don't know who I am, but they figure I must be somebody if I'm there in this room, right? Anyway, this is before digital anything. And so I wish I could find the picture. I have a great picture somewhere with me, Arnold, and Senator Hatch. And anyway, bottom line is, everybody gets up and leaves. They're serving food or something. And so everybody files out. And the only two people left in the green room is Arnold and I. And I'm like, man, this thing lines up. This is fantastic. Being ridiculous is amazing. Here I am with Arnold in the green room all by myself. You couldn't ask for a better setup. So I go up to Arnold. We had talked a few times during this event. And so I asked him, hey, are you aware that Carol Co's hurting? And he's aware that Carol Co is going through some changes. I said, listen, I'm thinking about taking him over. And I would like to see if you'd like to get involved. I don't need your money, but maybe you'd like to get involved, be a director again, on some level, have you come in. And so Arnold sits there and he's thinking about it. You can see the wheels are turning. And he thinks about it for about, 5-10 seconds. And he looks at me and goes, no, I don't think I'd be interested in that. And that's how Arnold and I kind of have the relationship we have today. So here it is, 25, 30 years later, I still see Arnold on a regular basis, and I'm still pitching him ideas. We're yet to make an idea happen. But I'm ever so positive that it will. On some level, Arnold and I are going to put a deal together, just letting you know. You're hearing it here first. But that's the power of being ridiculous. That's also the power of just asking and asking and asking. So even though you're trying to get a hold of somebody and you don't know how to get a hold of that person, you can just ask and ask people around you, and somebody, right, will connect you with somebody who can connect you with that person. And with LinkedIn and social media, it's easier today than ever before. So I want you to think about what it is you really want. Clarity is so important, and then not to be afraid to ask and go for it. So if you want this, 80% of the time you will get it. The other 20%, you're going to get this or this, right? It's still better than that, but you have to be willing to ask. And sometimes we feel embarrassed. Sometimes we're thinking to ourselves, man, this is crazy. I can't be asking for that. That's outrageous. Let me tell you, if you're getting that feeling, you're on the right track and you should ask. That is how I've gotten attractive women way out of my class to go out with me, and even got one of them to marry me. So that's how I've gotten all my big deals. I get that little feeling, oh man, this is completely ridiculous. They're going to be insulted by me asking for this. And guess what? I usually always get it. And I'm not special. Nobody knows me. But I keep asking until I get what I want. And by asking for what you really want, by being ridiculous, you're going to get what you want at least 80 or 85% of the time. That's been my experience. And the other 10 or 15 or 20% of the time, you're going to be pretty happy with the offer. I want you to think about this. I want you to start putting your list together. I want you to start asking, and I want you to be ridiculous when you do ask. Be courageous enough to ask for what you want. Shoot for the moon, and maybe you get a star. Or is it shoot for the stars and you land on the moon? That's what it is. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Remember, you were created to succeed.